your craft.
What's up, guys? This is Kaz with Elevate Your Craft, and welcome to episode number 15 of the podcast. I'm here with Phil Perez, owner and brand manager of Fuel Foods, which is a company based out of Toronto. Today, we'll learn a little bit about Phil and Fuel Foods, not only from a business standpoint, but also entrepreneurial. We'll also get into some nutritional aspects as well as the mindset behind a healthy diet. But first, Phil, thanks very much for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So why don't we start it off? Why don't you just tell us a bit about Fuel Foods and how it all started for you?
Yeah, Fuel Foods is a Toronto-based healthy meal delivery service. We provide custom diets and meal plans for clients, anybody from athletes to busy professionals, single mothers, single fathers, families, anybody who's looking to eat, very nutritious food and doesn't have the time to cook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when did it start? How old is the business?
So our company is going our fifth year now. We started it, 5 years ago, and it actually kind of happened by accident. Mm-hmm. What happened was my business partner at the time, he was doing the WBFF, which is one of the biggest fitness competitions.
Yeah.
And what happened was that he was staying with me at the time. He was in between moving, and he was cooking all his food. And, being a younger guy, he didn't really have a lot of experience in cooking. He was used to eating, foods
shawarma.
Yeah, shawarma. And he's from Ottawa, so a lot of shawarma. So what happened was that, he went away to his cottage one weekend, and one of his longtime childhood friends who was working in fine dining saw what he was eating, was a little bit disgusted by it, and then said to him, if you pay me, I can make this taste good for you. So, he gave him a few bucks, and with that, he gave him a list of the ingredients that he could use and couldn't use. And then through that, he went and, made these awesome meals for him, and then he even went and packaged them. So he got these nice little reusable containers, put some lids on them, and then, labeled them, and then dropped them off to him, and he was able to conveniently take these things to the gym with him and eat them before his workouts, after his workout, and in between. So it was just incredibly convenient. Mm-hmm. And he was just walking around one day at the gym. He was working at Florida Jacks at the time, which was, they're closed down now, but it was one of the coolest gyms to work out of if you lived in Toronto. It just had all these awesome trainers, really great location. And it just kind of started off with somebody saying to him, is there any chance you could make a few extra for me?
So it begins.
Yeah, and then, Nick, my business partner, being a nice guy, he says, for sure, I don't think it'll be a problem. I'll just get a few meals for you. So he gets a few extra meals. Next thing you know, somebody else sees him giving it to them, and he's like, oh, you're friends with them? You make meals for them, but you won't make some meals for me?
Yeah,
he's like, what if I want to pay you too? He's like, all right, fine. So
it just snowballs.
Yeah,
from
he
there.
just takes an order, and then, literally within a month, his he gets swamped. There's, over 1,000 meals going out a week. And, at the time, we're just cooking out of our condo. Mm-hmm. It wasn't meant to be a business. It was just, something that needs to be done for him. And at that point, he approached me. His original business partner, he didn't really like what was happening because there was just so many orders coming in because, nobody had seen anything like this before. And his business partner backed out, and then he was kind of left high and dry. And then, I felt really bad for the guy. So every time I would see, in our living room, there was just dishes piled up to the ceiling, and this guy was working like a dog 24/7. Yeah. He's marketing it, he's branding it, and then, he's helping cooking, he's doing the deliveries himself, coming back home, packaging the rest of the meals. Literally one guy doing all this, and then taking off again, and then there'd be all these dirty dishes. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd look at them, and I'd say, oh my God, this guy's so screwed.
He needs some help.
He needs some help. So I would just wash the dishes for him. I wouldn't ask him for anything, but just, out of the kindness of my heart, because, he's my friend.
Yeah.
And then, a few weeks later, he said, can you come on as a business partner? And initially, I didn't really like the idea of it. And then he showed me how lucrative it could be. Mm-hmm. And then, I told him, yes, I'm in. But unfortunately, it's one thing cooking out of your condo. It's another thing starting a business.
Yeah, definitely.
As good as the money looked initially, it's didn't stay that way as soon as we had to get a legit location.
Yeah. So was it you on the more of the business side, and then he was cooking? Is that how it started? Or
you know what? I mean, Nick is actually, the great thing about him is he loves to network, and he's very personable. He's got a lot of friends, and he helps a lot of people, and a lot of people help him back. I used to actually be his fitness manager about 10 years ago. He was working at the front desk, and I saw a lot of potential in him, and I wanted him to be one of my trainers. And then he started working with us a little bit closer, and I helped mentor him a bit and got him into the fitness industry. And then because I was this young 18, 19-year-old kid who was managing all these trainers who were 10 years older than them, because I was just really good at it. And in his head, living with them and having that experience, he just thought it was an
natural
easy
fit.
Yeah, exactly. So I started taking it on at that point, any aspect of it. So we were all cooking, we were all chopping potatoes together, we were all cutting onions, we were all grilling together, packing together, delivering together, collecting money together, washing dishes together. So,
you kind of have to be everything.
You're
at the beginning,
everything.
At least. Yeah.
But, even when you're everything at the beginning, we still didn't really understand what having a business was. We were just kind of going with it. And to be honest, we were just two young guys that we were just going through the motions, and it was definitely very entertaining.
So, were you an entrepreneur before, or were you working at a gym? So you weren't you didn't have your own business or anything like that?
No, I was. It's funny. I was an aspiring DJ and music producer at the time.
Oh, okay. So you took a little bit of a turn.
Yeah,
in a different
really
direction.
Big turn.
Yeah.
I was just, I loved going to nightclubs. I loved techno music.
Yeah.
And I loved making music. Actually went to school for recording engineering originally. And that's what I wanted to do. But, when these businesses, they take off, you're working.
You get swept into it. Yeah.
20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and, your life is over.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really feel like work, but it's definitely a grind.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So it sounds like it wasn't. This is a question I like to ask a lot of people who have their own businesses. Was there a moment that you knew this is what you were going to do, or did it kind of become more attractive over time? And it sounds like it just became more attractive over time. You didn't necessarily know. No,
it definitely became more attractive over time. Because we've been 5 years in, but it wasn't until our 3 years. 3.5 years, I would say, is when everything started picking up for us, because we went through a lot of growing pains because the information wasn't as available back then as it is now. And although we weren't necessarily the first ones to do it, we were one of the first ones to do it. But I'd like to think, and I could be wrong, but I'd like to think that a lot of companies, a lot of competitors, we paved the way for them.
Yeah.
Because they were able to see what we were doing. They were able to see the formula.
Follow that model.
And follow that. And, now, I open up my Instagram and, everybody and their mother's doing it. But back then,
it seems to be something that's coming, about more and more, kind of the health food delivery service, or what, maybe past 5 to 7 years, or
I mean,
you had Meals on Wheels and all that
exactly,
kind of thing back in the day.
That's what it was, but it was more. Sorry for that. But it was more exactly like Meals on Wheels, or you had, meal services that were, Healthy Hearts, Rose Reisman, and all these services are really great, but they didn't really take into account the very healthy side of it. It was very Canada Food Guide based. So they get a lot of breads, a lot a
lot of old model, World War II.
Exactly.
What industries do we need to feed off of?
Pies. Your dessert,
Dairy,
you get like some low-fat cookies. So it's more of a meal replacement than a meal.
A health
meal.
Yeah.
So we made healthy food gourmet. We made it taste good. And when we first started off, there was a really big interest, and it died down. we had to refine a lot of things. We had to really push and get our name out. And, fortunately, we had a lot of friends who were older entrepreneurs, and they were able to help us, price our food better. And, like 3.5 years in, that's when we had the moment. We're like, okay, something's going to take off now.
Right.
Yeah. And then after that, I was able to sleep.
Yeah.
A lot of sleepless nights when we were first starting.
The growing pains, right? Yeah. When you first kind of thought of Fuel Foods, or just were working at the beginning, did you ever feel that you were limited in who you could target? Because I mean, initially when I thought of Fuel Foods or any kind of health food delivery service, it seems very targeted in that, or maybe the audience is smaller. But then I'm thinking, well, maybe not, because I am in that as well, very healthy eating and that kind of thing. But pretty much everyone that I know, which isn't that many people, but out of that sampling, I don't think any of them would necessarily go for a meal delivery service. Yeah. So did you ever feel like, hey, do we have a big enough audience to really get this going?
Oh, yeah. I mean, our audience was huge right from the start. But again, I think we had that luxury that we were the first ones to do it. And for us, when we were doing it, my business partner and I, we actually did fitness competitions, and we only ate our food all the way up until the day of the show to show that the same food that everybody else is eating is the same food that we're eating. And look how incredible fit we've become just by eating 3 meals a day of healthy meals and exercising. But I think that it's still really popular, but I think the thing that's really just kind of working in everybody's favor right now is just that the public is a lot more aware of their health. They want to know what's in their food, they want to know where their food's coming from, and they just want to make smarter choices. And I live just on Bathurst and Lakeshore, but I was living in Liberty Village there. And if you go into the metro, it's all young, fit people. Everybody's, just on the perimeter of the grocery store. Very few people are actually in the aisles, and you see a lot of people making very conscious choices about what they're eating now. And I think the only thing that would really stop somebody from wanting to get food from us would be, whether they did have enough time to make it, or,
maybe they have that old school mentality of no one else should make my food, I should pay someone else to make me food, kind of thing. Yeah.
But they're paying, unless you're a really awesome cook. At least in my opinion, the reality is that it's going to be really hard for you to stay on track and make healthy food taste good, because you're very limited to the ingredients that you can use. And for us, we weren't hobby chefs or hobby cooks doing it. We actually hired, proper chefs, proper cooks. So we had the right people in a place, and, flavor was always a really big concern for us.
I can attest to that, because my meals are just bland as can be. I mean, they're healthy, I guess, but just the flavor is not there. So looking back from when you started, you kind of touched on this, how your business had to change to now. How has it evolved? Like, what would you say would be one or two of the biggest ways that it has had to evolve in order to stay relevant?
I mean, we've been very fortunate because we were in the fitness industry for so many years, and the fitness industry definitely helped us get to where we are today. But the thing was that, myself and Nick, we were really, putting ourselves out there constantly. We managed to make connections with anybody and everybody who was relevant. Definitely more in the city, but still on the outskirts as well. So, 10 years in, as much as we have, I believe we have as many as 20 to 30 competitors versus before there was maybe 5.
Wow.
And there's that many. We got featured 2 weeks in a row in the top 10. I had never even heard of their services before. And, I open my Instagram and I'm just seeing more and more every day. And that's just what it's the new trend. But because we started out first, we were able to make a lot of friendships with a lot of powerful people, and just with a lot of people with influence. So by the time, all of our competitors came out. They have some really great products, but we have a lot of brand trust because, we've been around for a long time. And I think that's huge for people, especially when you're dealing with food, because, I could see some random food company pop up, but, I don't know where their kitchen's located. I don't know what it looks like.
Trust
I don't know who eats their food. And
factor.
trust is huge because, we've been featured in enough magazines and TV where we've had, people walk through our kitchen. We just had ET Canada there maybe 4 weeks ago. We had the Food Network. And we're just, our clients come in, they pick up their meals. And, people, they see us, they see our kitchen, they see all the companies that we work with, they see all the athletes that we have on board. We're the official sponsors for the Toronto Argonauts. We're fueling them.
Wow.
We have anytime like really big movies come to Toronto, they get us to cook the food whenever the actors need to get in
like
shape.
A catering kind of thing?
Not even catering, just like everybody else. They just get their meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Packaged.
We'll drop it off to their hotels.
Huh.
Yeah. And, we have a lot of that brand trust, and a lot of really high profile people are pushing our food. And, we've had them for many years.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing, and I tell a lot of entrepreneurs is, when you guys start your business, you have to really make sure that it's getting in the hands of the right people, and you got to make sure that you're not cutting corners and that you're not cheating or that you're not, lying or, really be honest about your product and really, be proud of it and, just do the best that you can. Even our competitors, we've had to send out about 4 cease and desist letters this year. And, we even tell them before we send them out, we say, listen, we appreciate what you're doing. There's enough out there for everybody. It's not really a problem, but, try and differentiate yourself.
So that would be where they're doing something that is kind of taken from your brand or what you're doing?
They'll literally order food from us, then try and remake it themselves and plate it, and then take a picture with, water stamp it with the watermark.
Yeah, watermark it.
With their logo on it. And I'll just, I'll go through social media. I'm like, oh, is that? Oh, that's not mine.
That looks familiar. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think the whole entrepreneur mindset is, the guys that are going to be successful are the guys that are going to just, be innovative. They're going to be ahead of the curve. They're going to, really perfect that product and, make it as appealing as possible to the masses. Because if you get, 20 meal delivery services that are all the same, then,
it becomes a price war.
It becomes a price war, but not for us. It becomes a price war for everybody else.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because
you have the brand.
Because we have the
trust,
brand, right?
Yeah.
So brand is huge. Like you can't underestimate having, not necessarily even influential people, but just having a brand that people trust, and then the people that are promoting, people have to trust them too. Because you can see, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you can tell who's being paid to promote something because their heart's not in it.
Yes, yeah.
They're kind of half-assing it. They're just kind of like, give me my money and I'll promote it for you. And nobody buys that.
They don't necessarily really believe in what they're promoting. Yeah.
For us, half the time I see myself, I didn't even know they did it. I'll just get a little text message like, hey, what do you think of my YouTube video? Or hey, what do you think of this? I'm like, oh, sweet, thanks. Hey, nice. Yeah, I didn't even ask you for that.
So from an entrepreneurial aspect and just touching on the business as a whole, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced? I imagine there's still a lot of challenges for you. You might have seen a lot at the beginning, but what were some of the biggest challenges as an entrepreneur that you had faced? Yeah,
the biggest challenge by far, this is the one thing I tell everybody that whenever they want to get into business is you have to figure out your margins, you have to figure out your price point, and you get your accounting down pat from day one.
Yeah.
I was using at the time, and granted, I'm not an accountant, I shouldn't really know these things, but I was just using basic Excel spreadsheets and putting numbers in and this and that. But come tax time, If that's not organized, the sheer amount of time and money that you're going to spend in fixing this is a nightmare. But it has to get done.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And, you know, understanding that is huge. I can't stress that enough. Knowing
where your money
is, where every penny is going, setting aside your HST, and then, you know, understanding what the industry standards are for you know, how you base your prices. You know, for us, when we started out, we were losing money because we hadn't even cost our food out. We didn't even think of that.
Yeah, you're just buying it.
Granted, we're two young kids at the time, but you know, we're buying food and we're like, this looks like it's worth about $8.
Yeah,
that was our logic, you know. Like, this looks like it's about $8.
Yeah, not taking into account your labor, or the packaging, maybe things like that.
Just your overhead is huge, and then, you know, suddenly you're putting out more food than ever, and you're actually more broke than ever, and you're just like,
money.
Yeah, why am I not making any money? And then, you know, you get somebody who actually starts showing you this stuff. You know, we were fortunate. We had a friend, our friend Milton, who's who's owner of Le Gourmand, coffee shop at Richmond and Spadina, and he's also part owner of Portland Variety. He used to see me at the gym, and really nice guy, and he was always really, you know, interested in our business. And then one day I told him that my business partner and I were going to kill ourselves. Well, we were going to kill each other, I should say.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? And I go, you know, we're not making any money. We're working so hard. Like, I don't understand what's happening. He goes, okay, bring all your receipts, bring everything, suppliers. I'll fix this for you guys. Within 10 minutes, he had this thing fixed for us. And he's like, okay, this is what you guys are spending. This is what you guys should be charging at because of this industry. These are your profits, blah, 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 blah. 10 minutes, fixed everything.
Wow.
So we ended up having to raise our prices. And then that week, I remember my business partner saying, oh man, that's too expensive. We can't raise our prices. Like, we're going to go broke. And then I said, well, we're going to go broke regardless.
Exactly.
So, you know, we have to raise our prices. And then, you know, it's funny, we raised our prices, and then that was the largest profit we ever had. And, you know, 2-3 years.
And you were making money.
And then we started making money again. But I mean, at that point, it's still catch up, right? From all the, from all the lost money.
Yeah.
But, you know, this guy, he spent 10 minutes, maybe less, maybe 5.
It seems like a talented guy.
Yeah. But it wasn't even that. It was just, you know, I think when you have a business, you get so caught up in marketing. And you want clients, you need clients, but you got to remember the fundamentals. The operations are everything. We could have had a third of the business, which we did. We lost 2/3 of our client base, and we made the largest profit we ever made because we were losing $2 on every meal.
Yeah.
So even with less meals, we were still ahead because we weren't pissing away all that money.
Of course. Yeah. What do you think that fear was of raising your price? Because you have to kind of know what or feel what you're worth.
Yeah.
And I think that fear is pretty common of, well, we can't do that.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy it.
Well, again, it was there wasn't any other companies doing it. And it was also perception. Like, for us, you know, we're two broke entrepreneurs. We're working 2 jobs, trying to make ends meet, you know, maxing out credit cards to make payroll. And, you know, we can't afford anything. I can't afford nice clothes or dinners.
You're pouring everything into the business.
Everything
you're losing
into the
money
business. So for me, that seemed reasonable, but you're forgetting that not everybody's broke like you, right? And that people have jobs and people do well, and those are your clients who are going to buy your food. And you know, once you acknowledge that, you know, not everybody's in the same boat as you, you know, you're just thinking, oh, okay, I guess people can afford more than $8 because I guess they're spending that on Subway sandwiches. Yeah. Right?
Well, and you got to, I guess, figure out who you want to target, too.
Exactly.
Is it people with more money? Is it people who are more conscious of that kind of thing? So you've kind of touched on the landscape. You kind of were the first ones, and now it's grown. Where does Fuel Foods, as the type of business that it is, where does it fit into the landscape? Because it is food service. So, I mean, you have your restaurants, you have fast food restaurants, you have now delivery services are more prominent. Where does it really fit in? I mean, what do people see the value in that work with Fuel Foods?
When you say where does it fit in, like in terms of where do we see it going?
Yeah, yeah. And because, I mean, people, they can go out and get a meal. People, they can make their own. This is for people that don't want to do any of that, and they get it. They just pick it up or have it delivered to their home.
Yeah. I mean, at this stage, our company has grown, immense. Like it's way bigger than I thought it ever would have been. And at this stage, it's just, supply and demand. We get emails every single day from the most random places in the world, the most random. And they'll say, hey, do you guys have any locations here? Do you guys have any in France? Do you have any in Kuwait? Do you have any in Costa Rica? Do you have any in Nicaragua? Do you have any in Japan? Hey, I'm in Lebanon. I'd like to invest in you guys. Hey, I'm from Egypt. And just South Africa. And every week we're just getting the most random places. And, granted, it's not like Fuel Food's going to take over the world. We might. But we're probably not.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. But at this stage, it's just that it's funny because it's not even necessarily like there's a demand in every place of the world, but that's how far our reach is getting because of the people that we work with. So when we have, all these super high profile, Instagram celebrities, or we have movie stars using our food, or giant organizations and, sports teams, then, it gets around. And then people want to eat what these people are eating. So for us, we're just continuing what we're doing, growing. And again, it grows every month. Every month was bigger than the last. And, the more it keeps growing, the more that you can continue to invest in your business. And then just, at this point, we're, GTA and further out on the outskirts. And then it's just, expanding on that as the interest grows.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say the spread's like? Would you say it's more kind of athletes and people that are into fitness that are the bulk of your customers? Is it kind of regular professionals? Is it is it a big split among a lot of different people?
It's actually pretty much everybody. It's everybody, and that's actually the other thing too. That for entrepreneurs, you have like a client profile, which is like, okay, so this client. My ideal client is this, and this, and this. But, after having back and forth emails and phone calls, and our clients are completely random. It's the most random people you could think of. You wouldn't expect it. You get a lot of fit people, but you get a lot of people who aren't fit. You get a lot of people who, like I said, single moms, single dads. You get old people. You get people ordering, for their moms and dads who can't cook for themselves. You're getting people that are ordering for their kids. You're getting people that are ordering for their sports teams, like their little league. And
it's just kind of grown in places you didn't even think it would.
Yeah, tons of businesses. They'll use us. During certain periods of the year where they get busier. It's been hard for us to really nail that target because it's not consistent enough. There's a lot of people that are interested in the food, but maybe that's also because we have so many different types of people pushing the product.
And
so maybe every single person has their own focus group.
Yes, and you cater to omnivores, vegetarians, vegans.
Everybody now. Before it was just, balanced meals. Now we're doing halal. We're doing vegan meals. We were in talks with this other company about maybe doing kosher. We haven't really jumped on that gun yet. But I think with health being more prominent now, especially in social media, everybody's really coming out and, informing us with what they'd like to see. And depending on the demand or the amount of emails, once it reaches a certain threshold, we'll say, okay, we'll start rolling that out because there's enough people. And we just create waiting lists a lot of times. We'll just say, okay, we'll follow up with you. And, sometimes we'll just come out with random stuff. Sometimes it won't even work.
Yeah, like a type of meal, you mean?
Yeah.
And then just...
So we could say, here's our vegetarians, and then the vegetarians are like, we don't like this, and we're like, all right, cool, we gave it a try. But you know, it's a lot of it's still testing and experimenting. But you know, fortunately with us, we never really what's the word?
Like focus group type thing where
No, it's like we never really made ourselves only to a certain demographic.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, granted that in business that's what you want to do. You really want to have, you know, your niche. But for us, even with our branding, we never just, you know, picked one demographic. We were very friendly with everybody, and I think that kind of allowed us a lot of wiggle room to not be a little bit more mainstream, but definitely, you know, not leave anybody out. And
Well, everybody's got to eat.
Everybody's got to eat.
Which helps.
Yeah.
And they're obviously included in their menu now, the vegetarian and the vegan options. So there must be enough people who are vegetarians and vegans.
Oh, yeah. There's actually a lot of people.
So that's what I was going to say. Has it grown tremendously, those two demographics over?
I wouldn't say tremendously, but it's grown consistently enough. I mean, the thing is, we're not a vegan company. And that's what I was talking about earlier with brand. It's even though we're not a vegan company, and you know, I'm sure there's a lot of vegan meal services out there. Maybe there's not. I don't know. Maybe there's an opening for somebody. But the thing is, even with that, we still get a lot of vegan business. Again, because people like the brand. You know.
And you noticed that, and you said, okay, well, why don't we offer vegan food now?
Yeah.
And,
Because I think people just really want to be a part of that, part of something, and we have a really nice community around us and very supportive, and we've made a lot of really great alliances. So, you know, when somebody signs up with Fuel Foods, then, you know, we can set them up with anything health related that they might need because our network is so vast. So, you know, we send people to friends of ours who are doctors, chiropractors, physios. People need somebody for do his web design. If they need trainers, we can recommend people to them.
Wow, because they're so ingrained.
They just want to say, hey, these guys, they have a lot of cool friends and like a lot of cool affiliates. You know, who can we work for? And then it's back and forth with referrals. You know, we send a lot of business their ways, and they send a lot of business our ways.
And that's the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right. Getting deeper into the actual menu items, how much thought is put into every single menu item, the composition, the quality, the presentation? How much is put into every meal item that you offer?
Well, everything is everything is taken into account. The one thing that becomes hard with ours is the presentation, because when you get this food fresh out of the oven or fresh off the grill, it looks fantastic, because it's restaurant quality food. But the problem is that once it's packaged, it doesn't have the same presentation.
Yeah.
It'll still taste good, but it doesn't look the same.
Not on a 12-inch ceramic plate.
Exactly.
Handed to you.
And it's funny because I'll tell our clients, they go, I'll see people eating it out of the little black containers, and then I'll say to them, did you know if you heat that up on the stovetop and then you serve it on a plate, it'll look like something just from a restaurant? And they're like, really? I go, yeah, try it out. And they go, it really does.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people, they eat with their eyes. And, I mean, that's the only thing that's a shame about having to give food that's not given to you,
The portions.
Yeah. But again, some people, they care about that. Some people don't. I mean, I know people who don't even reheat our food. They just eat it straight out of the container. They don't even care.
They get it. And
because they use that, just, like the brand name says, Fuel Foods. They're like, no, it's fuel for me.
Yeah,
but,
I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I care. I'm not one of those people. I like food.
Yeah.
And every time I have a meal, I'll cook it on the stovetop because I need to have that presentation, because I need to, I need to salivate for it.
Yeah, you want it.
I want it, right?
Yeah.
But we have a pretty big assembly line at the kitchen. So we have the guys that are making the food, then we have the guys making, it's almost like a little army. You have guys cooking the food, you guys have prepping the food, you guys have the guy's portion the food. Then you have the guy that's on quality control, who's making sure that before every lid goes on, he's making sure that everything is accurate. If there's not too much, or sorry, if there's too much or not enough. And then, you know, we have such a diverse team in the kitchen that everybody has their specialty, and then we can definitely use that, you know, use their strengths for different dishes.
Yeah. So it sounds like you take a lot of cues from fine dining.
Yeah,
I mean, do you deal with
dining.
a lot of fine dining establishments, or I imagine you have chefs that may have worked in fine dining, or
yeah, I mean, everybody worked in fine dining before they came to us, which is great. You know, I remember when we were doing a photo shoot, I hired this chef, really great guy. I had seen his Instagram, and I was like, wow, this stuff's insane. And then, you know, he charged me an arm and a leg for the photos, you know, for plating them. And then I ended up having to do another photo shoot, short notice, with my own camera and not a professional photographer.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys, he's like, hey, Phil, do you want me to plate that for you? Because the other guy had to go. And I go, yeah, sure. And then I said to my business partner, I'm like, you know, these pictures aren't going to look as nice, but whatever, you know, it's short notice. And this guy did a better job than the other guy. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, wow, how ignorant was I that I didn't even look at my own team, because you get caught up in, you know, chef from this place, you know, how many followers they have on Instagram, how many likes are they getting. And then, you know, you realize there's a lot of really talented guys, and we have a lot of really talented guys on our team.
Yeah.
They make some wicked food, and, you know, so good that a guy like me, who's completely inexperienced, can get a great shot.
yeah, something right in front of your face, but you don't even know it. Huh? That's interesting. I guess going back to the fine dining experience, I guess it's something that you want to offer, but like you said before, right up until it's packaged, it's gone. And that doesn't, I imagine it's not a huge concern among customers, because that's what they're basically paying for.
No, they love it. I mean, they don't really care. Again, it's the convenience.
Yeah,
because,
I imagine, yeah.
Because, I mean, if you really think about it, how great is your packaging really going to be? You know, it's...
If you care about that, go to an actual
fine
dining establishment.
Like this is really convenient. So
yeah,
if that's your biggest worry, then, you know, I would even tell somebody on the phone, like, it's probably not for you.
yeah.
Sometimes you got to learn to say no, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, you can't cater to absolutely everyone out there.
Yeah.
Getting into kind of more on the general nutrition side, you said you deal with a lot of different people when it comes to health and food service. What I really want to get into is the mindset behind people that see value in your business, but also just eat well in general. And do you feel there are common threads, lifestyle, personality-wise, among customers that take advantage of your service?
I mean, that's a really hard question to answer. Mainly because it's still relatively new. Business, like, not our business is new, but it's new to the industry.
Yeah.
And, you know, from the day I started up until now, I mean, I don't do deliveries anymore, but, you know, I did deliveries for the first 4 years, maybe longer. I think I actually just stopped doing deliveries this year, maybe in February. And it was crazy. I've been doing deliveries since we started this business. And, you know, it's funny because I'm the owner, but for some reason I just felt like I had to be a part of everything. And, you know, it's time to leave when, you know, you have a customer giving you, you know, a tip.
Yeah. Okay. Time to go.
I was like, all right, I should probably.
Yeah.
But, you know, but with that being said, the reason I mentioned that is because I've seen a lot of different clients throughout the years, and I really can't put a face on any of it because it's been so random. And as funny as that sounds, it's been the most random demographic. And even rereading old emails from when we first started, you get emails sometimes, you think it's a joke. You're just, is this somebody playing a prank on me? And these people are legit. They want, and then, you know, I'm worried about what to expect when I get there. But, you know, sometimes they'll just tell me to leave the meals in front of the door. But,
Yeah, that's kind of.
But it's actually been really hard. But I mean, I guess the most consistent group of clients that we've been able to get are when we have somebody who has influence and their followers. So, for example, if we have a fitness personality that's got a large following, then those people are generally going to be really healthy, young, very health oriented,
On the go,
yeah. And those are for the most part them. But like I said, it's still, I think the business still probably needs, like the industry still needs a few more years to really kind of target that.
Oh, okay.
We do a lot of experimenting, even with deals that we put out, the way we market, offices, different types of businesses, different age demographics, different interests. It's still, and we're really good with that stuff. We're really on top of our data, and it's still hard to pinpoint.
Use it to its full potential. So you kind of say you pick a certain type of person or group and say, we'll try this on that.
And sometimes it bombs and you'd never think so.
Yeah.
Like I remember we even, we'd come out with certain marketings, we'd go to like certain offices, one person would tell us, oh, we need that. It's so bad in this area. You guys have no idea. You guys would kill it down here. And then we talked to her, okay, let's go down there and try it out. And then nobody buys anything, and we're going, why do we listen to this person?
That one person was the exception.
Right?
Yeah.
That was the one person. They were speaking for everybody. So, yeah, it's been tough to kind of narrow that down.
Yeah.
But, again, our company's been growing a lot, but like a lot it's been growing. But, we still have so much different personalities and types and client profiles that we still don't know it.
Yeah, that's very interesting, I guess, because even when I think of it, if you, I guess, kind of think of the difference of people who live very, very active lifestyles versus those that have just sedentary lifestyles, where their job is, they don't really have to do anything physical, and the way they think of nutrition. You kind of touched on it before, where it was someone will just think of it as, I'm eating this because it is fuel. I don't care how it tastes. And then whereas someone else, they love the experience about it, with it, the aromas,
Well, you know what? That's actually something that I have noticed, being sedentary, those are the least of the clients that we get. Because even when I was doing delivery, the one thing that I noticed was that everybody was predominantly in decent shape. There was never anybody that was that out of shape. And I found that interesting because, originally when we were first promoting weight loss, we would try and target overweight individuals. And we were going, these guys, they want to lose weight. They're going to spend the money. They'll do whatever it takes. They never bought anything. Because they don't really care. And, I'm not trying to generalize any group of people. That's definitely not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, somebody who cares about their health is definitely going to be taking on a lot of different behaviors than somebody who doesn't. So that's definitely the one common thing that I found was the majority of our clients are healthy. Yeah. It's not somebody that's looking for a quick fix.
Well, it's something I can even attest for myself. I know before, and the reason I mentioned shawarmas before is because
that business partner loves them, eats it all the time, every day. I just
ate more that you could shake a stick at. But as time went on and I became more and more physically active and conscious of those things, it almost seemed like it wasn't even worth it anymore to kind of eat in an unhealthy way because it was going against what I was spending so much time doing, and that's setting goals for exercise, losing weight, building muscle, that kind of thing. So it was almost like a battle between the two to really achieve one. So that's why I thought it was very interesting that you say that, because it's almost like that complements the other.
Oh, where, absolutely.
You're going to have someone, there's bulking and where they'll just kind of personally eat anything versus, but that is a really interesting thought I had and wanted to see if that was something that you see in your business. And I guess it somewhat is. What do you feel the biggest barriers for people when trying to change their dietary lifestyles?
I mean, unfortunately, it's just not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even for us, you know, that was kind of one of the hard realizations that we learned when we were doing this business, is that, you know, some people would say, oh, it's bland or it's this and it's that, but it's not. Like, it's, I know for a fact it's not. But the thing is that, you know, and I could just be making this up right now. At least this is my my take on it, is I feel that, you know, people, they adapt to certain, you know, ways of eating. I don't know if that even makes any sense.
No, their environment, their lifestyle, and the people they interact with on a daily basis.
You know, somebody who eats a chocolate bar every day or eats sweets, they're gonna hate our food. You know, because they haven't developed the taste, or they haven't developed, you know, the palate, to enjoy these foods, because there's so many natural ingredients. But you know, anybody who's taking anything in excess, like fat, sugar, salt, they're gonna think that we didn't put anything on our food.
Well, their body, I guess, craves it almost.
Their craves it, right?
And
you know, again, it's just not for everybody. So some people they're gonna want to do it, and they're gonna reset their body and try and get it back to the way it should be. But other people, they're just gonna try it for a week, and they're gonna say, you know what, I don't really think this is for me. And that's okay too.
Oh yeah.
It's you know, it's unfortunate because, you know, just the way that, you know, statistically, just you know how dangerous it is to eat that way, and just all the negative side effects. You'd think that, you know, people would be on top of that, but you know, sugar, salt, those things are all pretty big addictions. I myself, I love candy. Like, you leave me with a bag of candy in a room, it's gone in 5 minutes.
I know I'm that way with chips. It's it's the whole bag. There's no half. Even if you put the half away, half an hour later, it's...
Like, my tongue will be completely ripped. I won't eat anything for a week if you give me some sour keys.
That is, I know it is interesting, especially with your business. Did you ever feel like at one point where you wanted to change that, you wanted to try and encourage people to eat healthier, and then kind of now it's like people who are going to do it are going to do it? We'll just kind of stick to our guns? Or was it that the whole way where you're like, we're going to present this, and then the people who want to do it will do it?
Yeah. I mean, we're always trying to, you know, convince people, but, you know, we get a lot of really great compliments too, because we'll get, you know, feedback from people saying, I want to know what every single ingredient in here is. We say, okay, here you go. And they go, no, you're leaving something out. We said, why is that? They said, this tastes too good to be healthy. We said, oh, I think that's a comment. They're like, no, I'm not joking. Like, what are you guys putting in here, like butter or something? And people don't believe us. And, you know, they eventually, you know, they end up getting hooked on it. But, you know, it's definitely legit, because, like I said, you know, not everybody's a fitness model, but when we have professional, you know, IFBB bodybuilders going in on stage with, I don't know, 3% body fat, and these guys are literally eating the same thing as what you just had on your delivery.
It's encouraging.
Then it's encouraging, right? Because, you know, we're not doing anything differently. And, you know, you can make food taste good if you want to put enough care into it.
And time and thought and the right ingredients.
Not just, you know, marinate your food and, like, just put some effort into it. You know, I even had one friend a few years ago that, you know, he was always ripping on me for Fuel Foods. He was just like, your food doesn't taste good or this and that. And then I said, really? You can cook better than a professional chef? And then I'd see him cooking, and he would just grab some Clubhouse? And he would just kind of throw it on top of his chicken and then throw it in the oven.
Right away, without even leaving it, I
go, really? That's your form of cooking? But for him, he's putting so much on that he gets his flavor through that.
Oh, it's just coated in
just coated, but that's not really cooking.
No,
you know?
I hear you,
So, yeah, you know, I don't really know where I was going with this, but...
you've gone far enough. One of the things, and this is a really good parallel to what we were just talking about, and one of the things I never really paid much attention to, at least early on, is the quality of the food I was consuming. And of course, over time, I'm really conscious of that now. And one thing you get in just looking at your website and the brand is that the quality is top priority of the actual food, and where it's being sourced, how it's handled, how it's made, and that kind of thing. How important do you feel this is to your business, but also to just people who are looking to make better choices in general?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, unfortunately, you know, some people don't really realize the severity of not having that quality. I mean, for me, because the quality that we have now, we didn't always have, because we didn't know better either. Because, you know, think about even the last 5 years, how many more documentaries have come out? How many case studies, news, articles, YouTube, like, it's in your face now. Like, you can't. Anybody does anything shady, you're going to know about it.
You're not going to get away with it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the big switch for me was when I saw Food Inc. Because, like, you know, some things you just can't unsee.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
And I was so grossed out after seeing that. I said to my business partner, and I go, we should up the quality of the food a little bit, because we're just ordering chicken breast. We're not really thinking about it, you know? And then...
So what would be kind of the context of that and what you saw and what
you know, for example, well, this was the real eye-opener. So I saw Food Inc., and then I see the scene where all the chickens are in the, you know...
The cages.
The cages, but they're injected with so much hormones and steroids and God knows what, just to make them bigger so they can get more yield. And these chickens are so big, they can't even support their own weight. They're just falling over. Their legs are snapping, and they're just disgusting. And I looked at it, I go, Jesus, why am I eating that? That's disgusting. Like, that's so nasty. I've been eating that the majority of my life, not thinking about it, because that's what you're getting in a grocery store. And then my business partner goes, all right, cool. Yeah, like, I'll take care of it. So he goes, he gets it grain-fed, he gets it antibiotic-free, he gets it hormone-free, and the day that the shipment arrives, we get it, and I'll never forget this. I see our chef, and he's just pulling out these tiny little breasts, like tiny, look like just
like a normal,
like a deck of cards.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are those things? They're tiny, and he said, that's what antibiotic and hormone-free chicken breast looks like. I go, dude, they're like a third of the size. He goes, yeah, that's how much steroids they're putting in those chickens.
Wow.
And I could not believe it. These things are tiny. What real healthy chicken...
What it should be.
What it should look, they're a fraction of the size. And, you know, that was enough for me to say, okay...
We need to make a change.
We need to make a change, right? Because I wouldn't want, you know, I don't have kids, but if I had kids, I wouldn't want them eating that. I don't want my family eating that. I don't want my friends eating that. I want people getting good food. And, you know, we didn't even increase our prices. We just took a hit on our profit in order to offer that
the better superior product.
Yeah, because I said, you know what? I want to be proud of what we're giving people, and I want to be healthy, and I don't even want somebody to ask me, you know,
where are you getting
and for me to have to be embarrassed about saying it. Like, I want to be proud of, you know, where I get my chicken from and how it's cooked and everything. So that was the big eye opener for us. And same thing with the grass fed. You know, our meat's grass fed as well. And, you know, when I saw those cows eating corn you're just borrowing.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a whole other
you don't even digest that,
itself.
and these guys are just eating away at these things, and I'm like, that is nasty. Like, why is the cow not eating grass?
Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, we made some changes there as well, and then you know, just slowly and surely we just made sure that, you know, I'm not going to eat some that's not good quality.
Yeah. Why would
I give that to my clients, right? And it's great too, because I was taking meals before and eating them all the time, and then after I saw that documentary, we made that switch right away, and I couldn't wait to get my food now. I was like, oh, this is so healthy. This is awesome. Yeah.
So I guess it's worth checking out.
Oh, yeah. No, it's some things you can't unsee.
I know. I hear you. Yeah, you see those, and it's like, oh, no. I'm sure you saw a lot of good feedback as well from people that were actually eating the meals and saying.
Yeah. I mean, we've always gotten really good feedback. Sorry, the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've always gotten really good feedback. And to be honest, I don't even think anybody noticed.
Oh, okay.
I'll be straight with you. I don't even think anybody noticed, but I knew. So that's what was most important.
Of course, and like you said, I totally agree. You don't want to be feel that anything is shady about where you got your food from. And that question, who knows? Someone, maybe even a competitor, or they could say, "Hey, they're using this kind of meat or whatever," and then look at what we're doing.
But the irony is, most competitors are using still that.
Oh, okay. Because I'm sure it's not cheap to buy. Grass fed.
No, it's way more expensive. And it's funny because even our chicken, I remember 1 month I go, hey, why did our prices change? And then Nick says to me, well, because in the summer they need to make sure that these chickens that you wanted so much are getting their nice little air conditioner. Yeah. And I go, oh, that's excellent. Yeah, of course I want them to get their air conditioner. Why wouldn't I want them to get some little bit of AC in there? Because again, you don't want this gross, sweaty chicken that you're gonna eat. But again, that's not how they treat all chickens.
Yeah. It's just more economical. So some companies adhere to that model.
But most chains, most big chains don't use these. Antibiotic, hormone-free, grass-fed, grain-fed. Most people aren't even using that. I mean, you go to most places. This stuff, one of my friends who was the owner of Le Gourmand, he was the first one before we even had a business. He had Le Gourmand. They had insane food there. It was so good, but it cost an arm and a leg. It was almost $20 to get a combo. But he had a lineup down the, literally wrapped around the building. He was killing it. And I said to him, I couldn't afford to eat there at the time. And he would just, he'd give me some meals. And he goes, this is really good quality. And the reason I have to charge this is because, pretty much the same things that I just told you earlier.
Yeah.
And he said, you see that Greek place right there, you see that Chinese place right there, you see that burger joint right there. He goes, all their meat comes in buckets. He goes, think about that. He goes, I see it. I see the deliveries showing up in the morning. They're just these buckets with these blue bags and all these pieces of chicken that are just they have to drain all the
juices,
preservatives in there, and they're just nasty. And he goes, you want that? I said, no. He goes, well, that's what you're paying for, man. He goes, you're paying to get the good quality.
Yeah, and the peace of mind,
The peace of mind is huge. Yeah. And then that's when that was another big, light bulb moment where I said, okay, it's just, teach their own, because again, it sucks. I wish the food was more affordable, but unfortunately it's not. And that's kind of the one thing that we're trying to work on right now is, we just set up an easy plan to give a lower price point, so that, more people can be included into eating healthy.
The low is, what is it, $8.99, I think, was it? As low as
$9.99.
Yeah.
And, for us, we don't really make a lot of profit on that, but at least it doesn't exclude anybody.
Yeah. And I think it would be a light bulb for them. Maybe say there is food that actually tastes really good.
Really good.
High quality. And I
can
get I can get it. Yeah. So I have just a closing question. And usually what I do is kind of recommendation of any resources and that kind of thing that you may have. But the type of education and knowledge of nutrition that, at least maybe not yourself, but the people that you hire and that are in your business need to run it is immense. And you have people dedicated to that. But for people that don't dedicate their life to, figuring out all the nutrition and that kind of thing, they just simply want to eat better. Do you have any, can you recommend any resources that they can maybe look at or anything that...
Yeah, I mean, hands down, my favorite guy is Charles Poliquin. This guy is honestly the the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's a Chinese practitioner, but you know, this guy is so smart. So one of the highest certifications that you can get with you know, sports performance training is through a company called NSCA, which is the National Strength and Conditioning Association, and all the top level guys are certified with them. So Charles took an exam with them, and he got 99%.
Wow.
And then he went and told them, they saw the error. He goes, that's wrong. I got 100%. And then they said, no, you didn't. And then he went and disproved to them, and he had to get them to change their exam because of him. Yeah. And this guy, he's a genius. Like every time he comes to anytime he goes anywhere, all of his seminars are constantly sold out. He was actually the guy who fixed Gary Roberts' broken neck. So when Gary Roberts broke his neck and they told him that he was never going to play again, Charles Poliquin, through rehab, not even through surgery, was able to have him in the NHL playing better than ever.
Wow, unbelievable.
So this guy with his nutrition too, like you go on his website, you read any of his stuff, and they are just top-notch articles. Like anytime I recommend somebody, like even things for myself, things with supplements, things with you know, how many grams of this or that you should have post-workout, pre-workout, how to do your interval training. Hands down, the one-stop shop for just, you only need to read one article and you're set. You don't need to go through a million things with different websites. This guy's got all the info.
One thing says another, and then this is like, well, which one's right? Kind of.
Yeah, and you know, at the end of all his articles, it's just everywhere
citing all of these
everything. I've
sources.
Like half a page of sightings. It's not just like John Doe just writes an article and tells you that. This guy,
he does
his backs
research.
up everything. You know, he's a genius. That would be my go-to.
Okay.
He's got a lot of really good books and manuals too.
Yeah. Awesome. How can people learn about Fuel Foods, and you know, what's your social media handles? And I'll include that as well when I post everything. But where can people learn more about?
So people can learn more about us at fuelfoods.ca. So www.fuelfoods.ca. They can also go to fuelfoods.com if that's easier. That'll redirect them. Our Instagram handle is Fuel Foods. Same thing with the Facebook page. They just type in Fuel Foods. Inc. will probably pop up first. Google, same thing, will probably pop up second. And Twitter we don't really use so much, but that one would be Fuel Foods CA. We didn't really get the Fuel Foods, unfortunately, but you do what
Close
you can.
Enough, I know it's almost hard to get all of the social media, but you know, if you leave one, it's
Snapchat,
not so bad.
Fuel Foods.
Yeah. Cool. Well, just before I close off, thank you very much, Phil, for being here again. This was great. If you like the podcast, you can follow me on Twitter at EYCKAS. That's EYCKAS. The Facebook page is Elevate Your Craft, all one word. The Instagram handle is also EYCKAS, and the website is www.elevateyourcraft.net. And that's all for us today. Thanks very much, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.